Hello, my friends. I'm so excited to be here with Roberta Wilhelm. She is the executive director for Girls Inc. Roberta, so good to see you.
Thank you. It is nice to see you.
You know what? I was actually just kind of going over your website and looking at some different information. And let's just talk about the history of Girls Inc.
Yeah, Girls Inc. has been in this community since 1975. It's been in the country since the 1800s, but
Right.
in Omaha since 1975. It was started by some really passionate women, a junior league project, actually, and started in a church basement, 5 girls, and grew from there very, very quickly to where we are today with centers in North and South Omaha, as well as 2 transitional housing facilities as well.
Yeah. And like you said, this is a national organization that has an Omaha organization from it. So in the 1800s,
That's right.
I forgot about that. I forgot that this is a national organization. So
Yeah, we're a local affiliate there across the country on the East Coast, the West Coast, not as many in the middle of the country, but one joined us maybe 6 years ago or so in Chicago, which is nice.
yeah,
I'd still love for there to be one in Kansas City. So if anyone hears from that neck of the woods, we'd love to have a partner there.
absolutely. Well, then let's talk. Who does Girls Inc. serve? I mean, what do you do? What are your programs? So we'll start there.
We're open to all girls, ages 5 through 18 or through high school. And our transitional housing also helps young women who are older than that, who are transitioning to independent living. The younger girls, we're open to all girls, but we pick up primarily from schools east of 72nd Street. So those tend to be lower income neighborhoods where girls might not have the same access to the services and opportunities that other girls do. But any girl can participate. In the summer, we probably have a more mixed demographic because parents bring girls to us. But during the school year, we're more strategic about the schools where we pick up. So we serve primarily a population of Black and brown girls, but not solely. I mean, obviously, again, we're open to all girls.
Sure. And I have to ask you this question. How long have you been at Girls Inc.? I mean, you've been there for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm an old lady. I've been at Girls Inc. for, it'll be 18 years next month.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And I was with the Rose Theater for 20 years before that. So yeah, I've been in the community, in the nonprofit youth sector for a long time.
And let's just talk a little bit, because you've got this big event coming up that we were definitely going to talk about, Lunch for the Girls. But let's just talk a little bit. How have things changed over like the last 18 years? I mean, I assume they've had to, but I'm just interested in kind of from your perspective, what's different?
Yes.
Maybe what's the same?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what's the same over the years, even from the 1800s, is that the girls' needs are foremost. So the agency nationally and locally changes with the changing needs of girls. Yeah. So the Girls Inc. in the 50s was all about how to be a good wife and mother and how to prepare meals for your husband when he came home from work. And of course, that changed over the decades into teaching girls that most women work most of their lives and that girls should be prepared to support themselves and a family if necessary, and consider what their options are for a self-sufficient future. Yeah. So that's a big change from, and then again, in the 1800s, it was sort of like, how can you learn your parents are now in the mills and in the factories, and we need someone to teach girls how to make lace and, do these sort of things. Those really aren't on the agenda anymore at Girls Inc. It's much more about career options, STEM, equity, equity for gender, equity for race. So that has changed over time. And we're helping girls, again, access opportunities, social capital, connections, people, networks that they might not have access to without Girls Inc. helping break down some of those barriers.
Yeah. Do you have a mentoring program?
We do. I myself have been a mentor since 2006 to 4 young women, 2 of whom are grown now. But yes, women in the community can be matched one-on-one with the girls. And it's a great way to spend time with one girl it's win-win. I mean, you get so much from your mentee and you learn so much, and hopefully they learn from you as well. And it's just enjoyable time that I spend with my mentee.
Right. And is there kind of a cycle, like, does it start at a certain time of year, or it's
No,
this is just like,
there's always a waiting list. I saw that a pair was matched yesterday, and they're just kind of always evolving. Some matches dissolve. Sometimes a life change. Someone has an illness or moves, and it's
sure,
unavoidable. Or maybe they're in grad school and they mentor while they're in school and then they move, which
yeah,
again is okay. Other matches last. I had one mentee from the time she was in third grade until she graduated high school. So you can have a relationship for a very long time.
yeah. I mean, and that's just so important. Um, so let's talk about Lunch for the Girls, which is coming up here in November, November
11th.
11th. And you've got a really exciting speaker. Was reading about her. I mean, I know her, but so let's talk about the speaker first, because that's
Yes.
exciting.
So our speaker this year is Dr. Mae Jemison, and she was the first Black woman in outer space, a female astronaut, Black female astronaut. She's someone that children study in Black History Month. There weren't a lot of Black female role models that were held up in educational halls, and she was one. And so our girls know her name, our alums know her name. They're excited for her to come. There's a lot more to her than, I don't want to say just being an astronaut, because that's an awful lot, but she's also an author and a dancer and a choreographer, and she's a very accomplished person. And we like the girls to operate from a center of strength, and to see her, she's just a great role model for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So is this a live event? Are you
Mhm.
doing also a virtual component to it?
It will be live streamed.
Okay.
It's not produced as a virtual event as last year's was, but
Yeah,
for folks who want to watch but are not comfortable or unable to attend a live
sure,
event, it will be live streamed.
sure. Are there tickets still available to the live piece of it?
Yes,
Okay,
and those are available through our website, or give us a call. They are available. I have to say too that usually the girls have as big of a role in the event
yeah,
as does our guest speaker. The girls' voices are the most important voices, even more important than our speakers, who have been presidents and first ladies and very renowned folks. But the girls, their voices are important.
yeah. Because I mean, that's actually you got a step ahead of me too, because I know from going to this event in the past that the girls play a big role, and you hear from them, and they're there, and it's just such an inspiring event for those who come. And now, like, with COVID-19, the pandemic, needing to shift things a little bit. And last year it was a virtual event, but you're kind of like can continue that on for people who can't get there for one reason or another. So
Well, and I think hopefully there are some things we've learned from the pandemic that will
yes,
continue, and that's one of them. That
yeah,
accessibility, virtual accessibility, is nice.
yeah, absolutely. So are there other things happening during the luncheon, or kind of walk me through the agenda real quickly?
Yeah, so the girls will share first from their programs and their experiences and opportunities. And they tell us what they'd like to share every year, and they put the words together. So that's a little nerve wracking because you don't always know what's going to come out of their mouths. And sometimes it's not even scripted. Little girls may not even be able to read and may want to share about what they've
Yeah,
learned. And they have gone rogue on us, but that's what it is. That's who they are. So that's okay. And then other girls will write a script, or one of the young women will introduce Dr. Jemison, and which is traditional that one of the girls will introduce the speaker. The girls will interview the speaker. So they come up with questions, things they'd like to know. So again, very much front and center. I think they're strong, smart, and bold. They're brave because
yep,
they do get up in front of a crowd. A lot of people would be terrified to do that. And you have 8-year-olds who go right up to the mic and speak in front of a crowd of hundreds and sometimes thousands of people
sure.
very confidently. And you can see how confident and strong and bold they are.
Yeah. And I mean, what an amazing opportunity for them to be able to have a place to do that, because does not happen. That's kind of a far and few between experience that a lot of girls are able to be a part of. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, it is special. It is a special time for them to both shine their own lights as well as to network with folks who've been there and done that ahead of them and sort of forged a path.
Yeah. And I think the questions that our youth ask, I'm always interested to see what's on their mind, the questions that they come up with, because they're a lot of times very different than as an adult. You might even overthink things, but they're just there to learn, and they want to know, and they're curious. So that's an exciting part of the event for sure. So,
well, and sometimes the girls don't necessarily, we may know the speaker, but they don't.
yeah.
So in fact, when we had the Archbishop Desmond Tutu come speak, the girls said, well, last year we had President Clinton and this year we have a nobody.
Yeah.
And I was like, girls, no, he's not a nobody. And so they do research and they do read and they do fill the teen center with books and poetry or whatever that helps them learn about the speaker, which I love to see that process as well. And through that process, they come up with questions that they want to ask.
Well, we've got just a couple minutes left. I'd like to ask you, how can people support and contribute to Girls Inc., outside of this event, and also the mentoring piece? We talked about that. Are there other needs that the organization has?
So many. We have opportunities for businesses to offer externships in the summer for girls to experience careers and what job sites look like and consider what they might like for themselves. We have volunteer opportunities for homework help for program partners to come in and do programming with girls. We have in-kind donations of books, craft supplies, you name it. There is a way. If you want to get involved, we have a volunteer guild that helps put on fundraising and friend-raising events. There is a niche for every person's abilities times talent treasure to fit in with Girls Inc.
Yeah. And so your website is?
www.girlsincomaha.org.
Okay. All right, Roberta, thank you so much for joining me. Again, November 11th is Lunch for the Girls. You can join live, but you can also live stream. Been to it many times. It's such an amazing event and such an amazing speaker that you have this year, as you always do. So,
yes.
So anyway, just encourage everybody to go to the website and buy a ticket. So, Roberta,
sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's so great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Andy.